Today, we're showing you our VW Bulli T6.1 California Ocean. Our compact, smart, and extremely functional all-rounder when it comes to camping. It's ideally suited for both city trips and road trips through nature. It accommodates up to 4 small and large adventurers, whether as family, friends, or as a couple. Welcome. I'm Dennis from FreewayCamper, and today I'm showing you the absolute cult model among campers, the VW California Ocean T6.1, better known as the Bulli. Let's start with your living space. I'm currently on the passenger side and will show you in the next steps how you can convert the seat to create a nice seating group for up to 4 people. This is how to do it. First, there is a small handle directly under the seat. You can push it once to move the seat back and forth. Next, you should be able to bend the backrest at least 90 degrees so that when we turn the seat, we don't get caught on the B-pillar and scratch it. There is a small wheel here to angle the backrest. Now that you push the seat forward, last but not least, there is a small handle. Push it to the side and you can turn the seat around. Please make sure that you do this with the driver's door or passenger door open. This makes it much easier and reduces the risk of scratching or breaking something on the pillar. As soon as you have turned the seat, you can easily adjust it again. Of course, there is an integrated table in your California Ocean that you can use. For example, when preparing food or spending a cozy evening inside the camper. This is integrated into the kitchen unit on the left-hand side. There is a small lever directly behind the table itself. You have to press it in, then lift the table slightly so that it runs smoothly in the track, and then pull it out. If it hangs a bit, as I said, move it up and down a bit and it comes out relatively easily. Then raise it up. This is where you can find the leg. Fold it out, then it is fixed here. There is another red button down here. You have to push it in to extend the leg. Then you can lower the table, and like that, you're all set. 2 little tips about the table. First of all, if you want to put the table back, make sure that this pin, which is under the table here, snaps correctly into the device at the bottom. Otherwise, it will rattle during the ride. And second, you should always put this table back before you start your journey again. Moving on to the fully equipped kitchenette. Starting on the right, you have a small sink with a wash basin that you can remove. To the left is a stove. There are 2 burners to cook on. 1 small and 1 larger. The stove is gas powered. Just press the big button down. Then you can usually hear the gas flowing out. There is a small switch here in the middle. Press it once while holding the gas down and the flame is lit. After cooking, you should wait at least 15 minutes before lowering the cover. Here at the left end is the cool box, where you can store food. More storage space for your kitchen utensils can be found down here. With FreewayCamper, you always get a fully equipped kitchen package with plates, bowls, or cookware. Up here, you have a small cutlery drawer that you can pull out. Please make sure that these small cupboards are always properly closed. Otherwise, they could open during the journey and your dishes and other items could fall out. While we're down here, I will also explain this small lever at the bottom of the cupboard for you, This is for draining the grey water. When you use fresh water, it runs into a wastewater tank. The water in this wastewater tank is called grey water and must always be drained at the designated points before you return the camper. You also have the option of turning off your gas down here, directly under the stove. The gas must always be kept closed while driving. We'll come back to that in a moment. In the rear area, there is a gas bottle that you can close and open. And here is a small gas shutoff valve providing you extra safety. Directly under the seat is a small drawer with important equipment. Basic camping equipment, so to speak, which is always supplied by FreewayCamper. You open the drawer here on the far left. Then we have the cable for electricity as well as 2 adapter cables. There is also a water hose for filling the water tank, as well as drive-up wedges here in case you have to level out your camper. You will also find a dustpan and the awning crank. Of course, there are many light sources in your camper, including here directly above the kitchenette. You can either select these directly by hand or via the control panel in the cockpit area. Then you have another special feature behind the driver's seat, 2 individual light switches. One is for indirect lighting directly under the kitchen unit, and the other is for interior lighting in the cupboards. Of course, you also have the option of charging various devices in your camper. Among other things, we have a 230-volt socket next to the light switch, which you can use to charge your mobile phone, for example. However, this only works if you are connected to the external power supply, meaning you must have connected to an external power source. The camper is then supplied with power, and you can use this socket. Next to it are 2 USB ports. Among other things, there is also another USB connection up here and next to the seat down below. Here, directly on the driver's side under the handbrake lever, we can find another 230-volt socket. This can also be used independently from the external power. If you use light sources here in the front, please be careful not to leave them on too long, as they are powered by the starter battery. Another cool feature in your van is the integrated camping table. This is located on the inside of the sliding door. This means that when you are inside the vehicle, you have to close the door, and then you can find this table integrated directly here on the side. You can easily take it out by grabbing here and pressing it with your hand. The table moves out towards you. Take it away upwards, go outside, and set up your camping table. Of course, in addition to the integrated camping table, you also have 2 stools on board, or in this model, 2 chairs. These are located in the tailgate of the vehicle. Here is a zip that you have to open to reveal the 2 camping chairs. You can easily remove them by loosening the safety catch here and pulling the chair out. To assemble the bed in the lower sleeping area, proceed as follows. First of all, you can find another handle right down here next to the equipment drawer. This black one. Pull it and then move the bench forward as far as it will go. Once the bench has been moved all the way forward, turn to the backrest. There you will notice the 2 headrests that have been folded down. To do this, press the button in the middle. For the next step, you just have to fold down the backrest by pulling the loop in the middle of the seat between the 2 seat belts. Pull it and then make sure that you do not sit on the seat while folding it down, but push it down with your hands. As soon as you have pressed down the backrest, you can push the seat forward in the next step so that it is level with the rear area and fold down the mattress. As soon as you have folded down your bed here, you have additional storage space right next to the kitchenette, for luggage, clothes, or other things. At the back, there is a cupboard that you can open, and here is another large one, which is also relatively deep. Then we have this small door here that has a mirror integrated in it. As soon as you open it, a light also goes on inside the cupboard, and there is another compartment up here. Next, I'll show you the upper sleeping area of your camper. To set it up, you have to activate the control panel at the front. You do this by pressing the wheel here. Move one to the right, and then you will see the symbol for the pop-up roof. Click on it. It already says, "Please switch on the ignition." This is necessary to set up the pop-up roof. Switch on the ignition. Now I can put it up. First of all, however, the slats or the roof blinds have to be opened. Don't be surprised, the tent ball comes a bit towards you. Of course, I also check that everything is clear above the vehicle and there are no branches or a low-lying tree directly above us. Then we press open and hold it down. After the information or after checking that everything above is clear, we press it again and hold it down. Now the pop-up roof opens. As soon as the motor stops running, you know that the pop-up roof is fully opened and ready. To climb onto this top bed, please proceed as follows. Never step on the armrest or the headrest. Please always climb onto the seat here, or if that isn't enough, onto the wedge here. Of course, you shouldn't wear shoes here, so that the seats do not get dirty. During the day, you can of course also have the pop-up roof open so that you simply have more space and air in this vehicle. To do this, you can simply push the bed up. Please make sure that there is nothing on top. No blankets, no pillows, or anything like that. And now you have enough space so that you can also stand up straight. There are two small light switches on the top left and right, so that if you are lying on the top right, you also have a small reading lamp or a 12-volt socket for charging your devices. Another cool feature, you can open different zips here. For example, this left one. This is pretty big, then this window here opens completely. Or this small window here, in which case you are still protected by a mosquito screen. The same applies to the two sides. To fold down the bed, grasp this one at the top, hold it firmly and lower it slowly. Then, before you close up the bed, make sure that there are no more objects on top, just like when you fold up the bed. Only the mattress should still be there when you close up the bed. Close the pop-up roof, proceed in reverse order. Activate the control panel here and select the pop-up roof. Then select close and hold it down. It's important to note that there is another query here. First of all, is the bed already down? Yes, we just folded it down. Is the roof bed blind open? That's this one and it's open too. Even more important is that at least one window or ideally the sliding door is open for pressure equalization so that the roof doesn't get damaged because the air in the camper has to escape. So please have at least one door or two windows open. Once we have checked this, we can continue here. Let's press and hold. The motor has stopped running. The pop-up roof is closed. Now the last thing to do is to straighten the tent material here and you can close the blinds. Make sure that you do this alone and with both hands because you can easily jam your fingers. Therefore, it is best to let only one person do this. A small final note for the pop-up roof. If you are traveling with a child and they are sleeping up top, of course, we also have a fallout protection for you. If you need this, please let our station team know on site and they will provide it. You have the option of darkening all windows in your camper. There are integrated roller blinds on all windows in the living and rear areas. You can either pull them down from the top or pull them up from the bottom, as is the case with the rear tailgate door. The passenger and driver's door can be darkened with a magnetic curtain. The best way to do this is to open the door and then hook it in. At the front of the windshield, you have integrated blinds, which are located in the A-pillars on the left-hand and right-hand sides. It is very important that you pull it down slowly, hold it firmly, and then fold it into this clip in the middle, directly where the rear view mirror is. Please make sure that you pull it out straight and retract it just as straight when you go back, so that there are no creases and the fabric doesn't tear. In the next step, I will explain the control panel of the VW Bulli California Ocean. You activate it by pressing the wheel. Then you will see a general overview of the camper. Here you have different symbols. 2 tanks are indicated on the screen. The left tank is the fresh water tank. When there is fresh water inside, this is indicated by blue water in the tank. Next to it on the right is the wastewater symbol or the grey water tank. Don't be surprised, even if you have emptied it, there is always a small amount left inside, and it always shows you a yellow puddle. Then we have several lines to the right. This is the current charge level of the camper leisure battery. Here we see that it is halfway charged. That means we still have 15 hours and 50 minutes of battery supply. You will notice that the open pop-up roof open is also shown here. Let's turn the knob. Starting at the top left, we have the cool box, which we can operate by pressing on the icon. I mentioned earlier that level 3 is perfectly adequate. You have to actively switch on the cooler and switch it off when you no longer need it. In the top right corner, we have the symbol for the auxiliary heater. There is one thing to note here. If you want to use the auxiliary heating, you should only use the continuous heating function and never heat immediately. For continuous heating, touch once, then activate, confirm, and set the heating level and touch OK. Important note: if you no longer need the auxiliary heating, for instance you start driving, please switch the auxiliary heating off. By the way, the auxiliary heating runs and is supplied with diesel. I've just switched it on, so now it is activated. You can see the symbol in the top right-hand corner. In the same order, we would now click on it, select Deactivate, then it deactivates again. At the bottom left is the camping mode, which is also very practical if you are at a campsite and have neighbours. Normally, when you come back to the vehicle in the evening and unlock the vehicle, all lights come on. This means the interior lights as well as the exterior lights of the vehicle. If you have activated the camping mode though, the vehicle is in a kind of night mode and the lights are deactivated, so you don't disturb your neighbours if you come home late or return to your camper in the dark. Next, you can find the function maximum charging here. This is the way to charge the second battery while driving, in case the battery has gone flat. At the bottom right, there is also a very important function, called the level indicator. For this, you first switch on the ignition, then you can see whether you are parked straight or uneven. We always provide you with 2 drive-up wedges. These are in the equipment drawer. If you are parked at an angle or uneven, check it, and then you can level the vehicle if necessary by driving onto these wedges. Other settings like the alarm clock, timer, and lighting can also be found here in the control screen. Now we move on to the rear of your camper. This is some great storage space here. You can even extend it by pulling the loop here and lifting the board upwards. This way you gain a little more height. To fold it down, pull the loop again and carefully lower it. Then we have storage space on the left side. Open the doors and you'll see two storage compartments. At the bottom, there is a small shelf that you can take out. The shower head is stored here. There is an outside shower in the camper, which means you have the possibility of connecting a shower head outside. The camper has an outdoor shower setup, which means you can simply connect the shower head to use it. Just take it out, use this part and plug it in here. The plug has a little switch that you flip, and then you can pump the water and have a wonderful cold shower outside. Don't forget to flip the switch again when dismantling it after you're done with your shower, so that the water pump is completely off. You will also find a black box down here, directly under the two storage compartments. This is where the cooking gas bottle is located. If you turn open this lid, you will see a small blue gas bottle. As I mentioned earlier, this should always be closed while driving. The same applies to the safety valve directly under the gas burners in the kitchen area. If you have problems or no gas is coming from the front, first check whether the gas shutoff valve directly under the cooker is closed. If it is open, then come to the back to the gas bottle. Check if that is open. If both valves are open, then it probably means the gas bottle is empty. This is very rarely the case. However, it can happen, and you can easily replace it at the hardware store. Always make sure that the gas bottle valve is closed again before you start driving. To restore everything after that, simply put this cover back on, replace the shower head, and put this board on top. We are now at the rear of the driver's side. The external power connection of the van is located here under the flap. To access it, you just open the flap. Then, as already mentioned, we have two adapter cables ready for you in the drawer directly under the back seat, as well as an extension cable drum. To connect the camper to the outside power, you take this adapter cable here with this quick release fastener. Open the flap here and insert the cable. Push it in completely until it clicks into place. Now you can connect the camper to the outside power. The 230 volt socket, which is located directly behind the driver's seat, will also work at this point. To disconnect, simply press down this blue pin. Pull it firmly, wiggle it a bit, and the cable will release. Give the cover a little pat to close it so that it doesn't flap around while you're driving. And that's it. You've disconnected the power. Don't forget, of course, that the cable should be removed before you start driving. Now we continue with accessing the water tank. This is located directly next to the external power connection. To do this, proceed as follows. Next to the ignition key, you will find another key. This is the key required to open the water tank. You need it to open the tank. Simply insert it, turn it, and open the tank. Set it aside. Then take the water hose from the equipment drawer, which is part of our basic equipment. Insert one end here, connect it to the water source, and fill the tank. How do you know that the tank is full? When the water comes out of the top. Please make sure that you only fill it with fresh water and nothing else. This is very important. It is the water tank only. This means that only water is filled here and never diesel. To close it, put the cap back on so that no one can fill it with anything else or siphon off the water, and you're done. Directly in front of the rear tyre, down here on the driver's side, is the outlet for the grey water tank. This tank is where the used, dirty water is stored. Since you should always empty the grey water tank before returning the camper, you must drive to a designated grey water release spot, for example, at the campsite. When parked there, press the red lever, which we have already shown you, in the cupboard above the stove. Then the water runs out right here in front of the rear tyre on the driver's side. This is the short black hose where the wastewater will run out from. The last thing I'm going to show you on the driver's side is how to refuel the camper. To do this, open the driver's side door. Then you open this small flap here, and 2 tank caps are visible. The black cap on the top marks the diesel, and the blue cap underneath marks the AdBlue tank. Basically, we hand over the camper to you with both tanks full, meaning both the diesel and AdBlue tanks are full. We expect them to be full upon the return of the camper, so please fill up both tanks before returning the vehicle. It is important that you only fill up with diesel and nothing else. Never petrol or water. As you saw, water belongs in the back of the camper. Please never fill up with water here in the front. AdBlue is then filled down here. If it isn't directly available by pump at a petrol station, you will definitely find it in a bottle inside the petrol station shop itself. Please also fill it up. Of course, you also have a great sun awning on your van. I'll now explain how to set it up. First of all, go inside the camper. You will find the awning crank in the equipment drawer. You then need to insert it at the top left-hand side of the awning. Make sure that it is firmly inserted into this slot so that it doesn't fall out and damage the paint where you crank it. Before you start cranking, be sure to close the sliding door and the passenger door. Now you can start cranking. Crank the awning out to about 1 meter. The next step is to take out the legs. There are 2 of them and are both released from the middle here. Release one of them, bring it down to the side, extend this bottom piece, and lock it with the white lever so that the support leg is nice and sturdy. If you don't lock the white lever, the awning will come crashing down again as soon as there is weight on it. Now do the same steps for the leg on the other side. When both legs are out, keep cranking. Then pull the legs forward, crank, 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 pull the legs forward, and continue like that until you are in the final position. Once you have fully extended the awning, there are a few things to consider. First, your awning is purely for sun protection and should only be used for that purpose. This means that in bad weather, the awning should be retracted promptly. What is considered bad weather? As soon as it is stormy, raining, hailing, snowing, or similar, you should definitely retract the awning. In general, you should never leave the awning unattended. This means that if you ever leave the campsite or the vehicle, you should retract the awning. Now, let's move on to the front area of the camper. In the driver's or the front passenger's door, we have a few things set up for you. In the driver's door, you'll always find a vehicle folder with important documents such as the registration certificate or the insurance certificate. The supply kit is also located there, which includes a warning triangle, safety vests, and a first aid kit, along with a parking disc. In the front passenger's door, you'll usually find a fire extinguisher, spare oil, and additional safety vests. This VW California Ocean comes equipped with a multifunction steering wheel featuring various driver assistance systems. It's the latest model, so we have adaptive cruise control and a lane keeping assistant. You can easily connect your phone via Bluetooth up front. Of course, we also have automatic climate control on board. Our VW vehicle models have automatic transmissions, as well as parking sensors all around the vehicle to assist with parking. Naturally, with the automatic transmission, when you shift into reverse, you also have the benefit of a rear view camera. Up at the top left corner of the windshield, you'll find a small sticker indicating the vehicle's dimensions. Please always pay attention to this, especially when navigating narrow streets or underpasses. It is crucial that you clean the vehicle before returning it. But here's a very important note. The vehicle should never be taken through an automatic car wash. It should always be hand washed, which can be done at a self-service car wash station. Now, nothing is standing in the way of your camping trip. So, head out for your adventure and have a great time.